Hello, and this is Dr. Corey King from AskDrKing.com. Today we're going to be discussing genetically modified foods and why a lot of people are not big fans of them and why some people don't fully understand them all the way because there can be some confusion. So I'm going to try to clear that up in today's video. It may be a little longer than normal, but we need to get this point across for you members that are watching, subscribers. So hopefully you'll learn something from it and then you can share it with others. And if you enjoy it, make sure to like, share, and comment on the video. I greatly appreciate it. And I try to get back to all the comments. So if you ask a question, I'm going to respond to you. Now let's talk about genetically modified foods. The reason I wanted to discuss this, last week I posted a blog post and went on social media and said you can still eat pizza if you have a thyroid disorder. And for most patients and members that have been following me, they know that I mainly deal with autoimmune conditions, especially thyroid disorders. And if you have an autoimmune condition, especially what is called Hashimoto's disease, you've got to stay away from wheat. You've got to stay away from dairy. So by me posting, you can still eat pizza, a lot of people started raising their hands and wanting to learn more. And the reason that post came about is we had some friends in town visiting from California, and we'd been telling them about this pizzeria, or pizza joint we call it here in Austin, that is a Neapolitan style pizza, and they are certified Neapolitan. And what that means is if you have a wheat allergy or even a dairy allergy, you can still eat there. Years ago, it's been about 3 years, Natasha and I and other family members, we went to Italy. And I'd always heard and saw research that the wheat in Italy we can consume even if we have a gluten sensitivity. So when we went a few years ago, we pigged out on all the pasta, all the pizza, all the bread that we wanted, and we had zero reactions. Now, I'm the type that if I have dairy, you're going to know it right away. Several reasons why, and I didn't have any issues when I was in Italy. And the same thing with bread. If I have wheat, I typically get joint pains, and specifically my right elbow. Why my right elbow? I have no idea. If I eat wheat, my right elbow starts to hurt. So when we went there, we pigged out, we did great, and we didn't have any issues. So when we came back, we were on a hunt to find places that we could eat at and still, cheat, if you will. Our cheat is once a month. We get to go to this pizza joint here in Austin, and we could eat that food and not have any reaction. So our friends came out, we took them to the pizza place. Natasha's best friend, very, very sensitive to dairy, where she gets these really bad migraine headaches, and she didn't have any reactions. On the post and in the blog and in the article when I was discussing all of this, some patients started to ask me about the genetically modified foods. So let's keep it really simple so we can all just be on the same plane, if you will. To me, genetically modified foods and hybridized foods, I'm going to lump them into the same category. Why do I do that? Well, the foods are they're modified. They are hybridized, they are modified, they are affected. They're not the original food that we had 50, 60, 70 years ago. In humans, we call these genes. Our genes are what make us who we are. In plants, we tend to call them alleles. For this video, I'm going to call them genes. So years ago, a company, Monsanto, so many health advocates or natural health advocates, they're not big fans of Monsanto. Monsanto came in and they said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to create a product called Roundup. All right? Roundup's job is to go and kill the weeds around the plants so that way the plants can thrive and produce a larger yield. The whole goal was to meet the supply and demand issues that were occurring. And granted, because of Monsanto, many people got food that may have otherwise been unable to, because when the demand is high and the supply isn't there, they're going to starve. So what Monsanto did was they came up with this formula called Roundup, and its job was to kill the weeds around the plants so that the plants could thrive. Well, what they did was they started to get in the plant's genes and change the gene structure so that way these plants, if Roundup was sprayed onto them, those plants wouldn't die. Those plants were technically genetically modified, or we could call them hybridized. They were changed from the original plant structure. So they were changed in order to use the Roundup product so the plants could grow quicker. Now, yes, it's a money-making business, right? So then the Monsanto can go and sell Roundup to farmers and to the layperson at Lowe's and Home Depot. But what was also happening was when they weren't genetically modifying certain plants, then the Roundup was getting on some of the natural or the organic plants. And we were starting to see some issues with that as well. So when they were eating these genetically modified foods, the one thing that started to happen, this is what research has been trying to dive into and uncover, if you will, our bodies do not recognize these genetically modified plants. Our body doesn't see it as real food. So if something has been modified or hybridized from its original state, then the original state's not known anymore, right? So you go and eat some wheat that was genetically modified from Monsanto, so the seed is different, it grows, and now it's not the real wheat anymore. Your body is going to have a very difficult time recognizing that as food. So if that happens, your immune system's job is to kill off any foreign invaders. So essentially, that wheat that's coming in is a foreign invader. It's not real food. Your immune system attacks, and then inflammation occurs. And inflammation is the big killer. And if we're going to be honest, heart attacks and strokes, what creates that? A lot of inflammation. We'll call inflammation the silent killer. If we can get inflammation down, we can improve our health, we can improve our productivity, and we can live a healthier life. So we've got to get inflammation down. In order to do that, what you're putting into your system, if your body doesn't recognize it, then inflammation is going to occur. So this is why organic is a lot better, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions, because we're not getting these genetically modified foods that our bodies don't recognize anymore. So if you had the choice of eating organic and paying a little bit more versus eating genetically modified foods and creating inflammation and destroying your body, well, I'm going to pay a little bit more to not have long-term healthcare detriments, if you will. So going to the farmer's market, typically you're going to have local farmers that they're not using these pesticides and herbicides or insecticides, and you may pay the same amount at the farmer's market, but you're supporting local farmers. We went there on Saturday and we just started buying some of the organic vegetables that the local farmers had. I'll gladly pay a little bit more money for the organic foods so I'm not creating that inflammation in my body. So just think, genetically modified foods are foods that were once pure that have now been changed to the point that our bodies don't recognize them. And they were changed in order for the farmers essentially to have a faster growing crop, which is going to yield more crops more frequently. And it's just the nature of supply and demand. So genetically modified foods, a couple years ago, there was these, basically they were wanting to sign, okay, so we're getting back to these genetically modified foods, and sometimes you don't even know what you're eating. So you've got to really take it with a grain of salt. If you're going to buy something that says it's organic, we have to trust that it's organic. A lot of patients ask me, well, Dr. King, what if I'm just spending a lot of money on some foods that aren't really organic? I don't have a good answer for that. I get that, or I get asked that one a good bit. I just say we have to trust them. Now, when you go to the grocery store, here's kind of a simple way to figure out if something's organic or non-organic, and it's by the sticker that's on the food. If it's a 4-digit number, typically it begins with the number 4, that is non-organic. If it's a 5-digit number, it typically begins with the number 9, that is organic. So if you walk into Whole Foods, if you have a Whole Foods near you, you've really got to pay attention to this because they do carry non-organic fruits and vegetables. And they cost more than the regular grocery store, and they're still non-organic. So really pay attention to not only the signs that are in the grocery store, labeling the foods if they're organic versus non-organic, because sometimes the labels are wrong. Or sometimes you rush in a hurry, you grab something, you rush out, and you get home and you realize, oh my gosh, I bought the wrong thing. That happens to us. But look at the stickers that are on the fruit and on the vegetables. And here's a tip. Cut the sticker off, because what do they use to glue the sticker on? Essentially gluten. So even if you pull that sticker off and you're highly sensitive to gluten, you could still have a little reaction even though you just pulled the sticker off. So I always like to cut it off, or if it's an apple or something, I'll bite that part of the apple and just spit it out. So genetically modified foods, let's sum it up. They were once natural foods that have been modified for a specific reason, whether it's to prevent being destroyed by Roundup or prevent insects from attacking it, whatever they decided to modify the food for, but it's been modified and our bodies do not recognize the food as a food source. Your body's immune system comes in, it destroys it, it creates inflammation. Inflammation is what destroys. It destroys joints, nerves, brain tissue, gut tissue. It can cause you to literally look inflamed. It can cause your hair to fall out. It can affect your hormones. It can affect your thyroid. It can affect your liver because your liver has to filter it all. So, when shopping, do the best you can. If it does not say organic, at least let it say no added antibiotics or added hormones or nitrate free. Those are all great buzzwords to look for when you're at the grocery store. Another food that a lot of patients will ask about will be eggs. And when the egg carton says vegetarian fed, it's still not that great. And I'm going to cut another video after this discussing the difference between vegetarian fed versus grass fed. But you want to get pastured eggs if you like eggs, if you can tolerate eggs. So not just vegetarian fed. I still don't like that. I still will go and get the grass fed or the pasture raised chickens, or excuse me, the pasture raised eggs from the chickens. Alrighty, so if you want to learn more, make sure to visit our website, AskDrKing.com. You can visit our YouTube channel, and we've got a couple different Facebook pages out there. There's a Dr. King's thyroid support group. There's also Ask Dr. King. And we have our Instagram. We're always posting great recipes and ideas. So make sure to like, share, comment, check it out, and just spread the information, and let's just help other people improve the quality of their life.